When parents are in conflict, this can have a huge negative effect on our children. So Nardine, can you tell me, how can this conflict be resolved effectively without having to go to court?
So mediation. Mediation. That is the key to resolving everything without having to go to court, in my opinion.
In your opinion. So, what is a mediator and what do they do?
So a mediator runs a mediation. They're a trained person. I'm a mediator as well, so we do training, and it's a controlled discussion between two or more people. So we meet with people first. We then get them to come into the same room, although it doesn't have to be. You can be in separate rooms if you don't really want to face off each other, which a lot of people don't.
Yep.
So it's a way of controlling the discussion. So you know what happens when you try and talk about something that you're in conflict and you start to get upset and angry, and the other person interrupts and you haven't been able to have your say.
Yes.
And you haven't been able to think about what you wanted to talk about. So the mediation lets you do that. It lets you speak respectfully to the other person. They have to listen to you, which might be a first for many people. And then they get to say what they want to say, and then we work through the issues one by one. And it's controlled and it's respectful and it's safe. So it's a means of trying to nut through all these things that are really hard to talk about in a really controlled environment. So that's basically what it is.
You must get some great outcomes.
You get some really good outcomes, and I always say to people, you've got nothing to lose. Even if you walk out of mediation without having solved the big issue, I guarantee you will have solved something. There'll be something that will be sorted out. And even if it's just hearing for perhaps the first time what the other person's point of view is and why they're in dispute with you, why are they not agreeing with what you want, and you might get to hear that and maybe understand it where they're coming from.
Because if you can get to that point, you don't have to go to court.
Exactly. If you can resolve it at mediation, you get it written up as an agreement and you don't have to go to court.
Which can save you a lot of money.
It saves you, well, the average court case we're told now is $43,000 each.
Whoa.
And that is, I think, a bit understated, and I've heard recently of someone spending over $100,000 in a court case. Who's got that sort of money, and why would you waste it on that when you can mediate? Costs you a couple of $1,000s, you might just settle the whole thing.
That's amazing.
And go on and live your life.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So, what traditionally happens in a mediation? Walk me through a common situation and who attends.
Yeah, so husband and wife attend, or partners. I meet with them beforehand. We have a chat about what it is that they want, the outcomes that they want. It's really just also for me to check that they're okay with the process of mediation. And then, let's say we meet in the same room. I get one person to just give an opening statement. This is what I want to talk about. These are the issues. The other person then does the same. We then pick a list of issues. So, what do we do about the house? What do we do about the kids? What do we do about this? 1, 2, 3, 4, and we work through them one by one. Yeah? And if it's what we call a shuttle mediation, I'm in one room with one person, I do the same thing. I then go to the next room with the other person, do the same thing, and I bounce backwards and forwards.
Like a yo-yo?
Like a yo-yo, yes. And the messenger gets shot a lot, but that's all right. It's part of the...
You're tough like that.
That's it. Yeah, so that's basically the process, and then if you've reached an agreement, we write it up, and then you go and take it away to a lawyer and get it. If I'm mediating, I can't do that next step, which is to take it away to a lawyer and get them to write it up for you.
Okay. So how can mediation help resolve divorce then and separation?
Yeah. So it gives you the opportunity to talk through these issues without incurring really steep legal fees. So if you think that you go to see your lawyer, it takes an hour to tell your lawyer what you want to say. They write it in a letter, they send it to the other side, that person goes off to their lawyer, that takes another hour. Your fees are clocking up, and really all you're doing is writing to each other. So if you can cut through that and actually sit there and talk to each other, you're saving all that time.
Yes.
Yeah, you're saving all of that process. So that's why it's such a good thing, and it also gives you a chance to explore arrangements, particularly with kids. We have these arrangements in our head, but it gives us a chance to actually work through them and see if they really are going to be what's best for our kids. We might think it's good, but
yes,
reality test.
Absolutely. Because you are a family lawyer, but you're also a mediator, and you have a firm belief that we should always mediate before we litigate.
Always mediate, and honestly, it's one of my big passions, mediation, and I don't understand why it's not something that everybody does at the very start of their dispute. And it's not just family law, but you can mediate any sort of dispute. Why not? Give it a go, you've got nothing to lose.
And that's fantastic as you as a lawyer saying that, because obviously you make a lot more money when people do divorce and you go through the big court thing.
Yes, I do. But look, you know, the cases that earned me the most money were the ones that caused me the most anxiety.
Yes.
You know, so my big fat file that probably did, you know, earn me a couple of grand, that's the one I go to bed at night and I worry that this isn't good for these people. You know, this conflict is not good for people and it's not good for kids ever.
Yes.
So I would much rather someone come in, spend a bit of time with me, go off to a mediation, settle it, come back, I finalise it for them. They go out the door, they're happy, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I might not have made a big fee, but I don't care, you know, that's, and it's turnover too. It just means that I've got more time then to take someone else on.
Exactly.
So I think it works.
So besides saving money and saving your sanity, definitely go and see Nardine and the team from Collier Lawyers to find out why you should definitely mediate before you litigate. Thank you.